So when you think about New York City, obviously a lot of great places to perform. What are some of your favorites?
So I love like the little tripod in Park Slope of like Littlefield, Union Hall, the Bell House. Those are all so much fun to perform at, and they're all very different sizes, which is cool. I really like doing bar shows. I do clubs. I do like Caroline's in the Stand, and they're great. But I just love like an independent bar show. They're so fun. Not an ambush show. Not a show where like people are like, "Oh, I came here to hang out with my friends," and now people are talking at them. But like a planned bar show in a back room or a basement's my absolute favorite.
I like it. And you're balancing all this while working for Full Frontal. And it's been really cool to see the growth of that show. So what's it been like being a part of that?
Oh, it's just my favorite. Everyone there is so wonderful, and it's my favorite job I've ever had by far. It's very, I feel like we're living in a very stressful time,
Mhm.
and it feels good to wake up and go somewhere that I'm proud to work.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because of everything going on right now with COVID, we're actually taping in Sam's backyard. It's literally
Oh,
like
wow.
her husband and her kids. Yeah, we did our first episode aired last night. I don't know when this will be released, but I think it's Thursday the 26th today.
Gotcha.
Is it? That's
Yeah,
a question.
it is 26. Yeah.
Time has completely blended together. It's all a blur. So yeah, but we're still doing the show. We're still working from home. Sam and her family's doing the actual heavy lifting of the show. Um, and it's weird as hell, but we're making it work.
Yeah, I think that's what everybody's doing right about now. So when you think about your comedy career, how has it grown the last couple of years? And like, what's the biggest difference between you as a comic now compared to 2 years ago?
So probably the biggest difference between me as a comic now and 2 years ago is that I'm not strictly focused on stand-up anymore. I was just one of those people who was like, you got to get up as many times as possible. And like, I would just go to show to show to show, to mic to mic to mic. And I loved it, but it's really easy to burn out on that. And also it can be a little limiting creatively. Stand-up's my favorite. It's like totally my favorite, and it's always a priority. But getting to be a warm-up comic now and having that job and getting to be a digital producer and like helping to run the socials for a late night show is so rewarding and also way more stable.
Mhm.
I forgot how nice stability is.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a
Yeah.
very nice thing.
Oh my God. I was like, why am I such a mess? And it's like, oh, because I'm an idiot and I'm setting my own schedule. Like, no, other people need to tell me what to do. And then I'm great. I'm doing great. I mean, I'm not, but I am. Like a pandemic aside,
Pretty
it
good. Doing pretty
without
well.
if the pandemic wasn't here, I'd be doing great.
So with the comedy album, you obviously had some big plans around that. When
Yeah.
people do check it out, what are some things you want them to think about, just in terms of things to laugh about or things to kind of take your mind off of all that's going on?
So, even though I work at a very political show and I would classify my Twitter as pretty political, my stand-up's not. Uh, it's very goofy, it's very silly. It can be a little dark, but it's always on the sillier side of things. So I think if you're looking for an escape in this very hard time that is terrorizing pretty much the entire country, it's not a bad listen. It's pretty chill. A lot of like Mountain Dew jokes and like,
Those are good.
yeah, weed jokes, chicken nugget jokes, just very fun stuff. So it's a good little palate cleanser after a day of reading the news.
I'm definitely here for that. That's for sure. When you think about your career, what are some of the big moments that stand out to you so far, just in terms of some of the stuff you've done?
I mean, the most pivotal moment in my career was probably performing on the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Everything has sort of snowballed from there. It led to my current job. I wouldn't say it led directly, but I was able to use my tape
Hmm.
to get noticed by them to be a warm-up comic. And it also has led to a lot more touring dates, which is not relevant right now, but it was. And it's just been, it kind of, when you do your first late night, it's sort of, I think it gives you a confidence that you didn't have before, like to have like a real credit. for my credit to not be like something that I did like 4 years ago that like people don't remember, you know, like it's like, oh, this is a thing that is going to withstand the test of time. Like the late show's existed for like decades.
Yeah.
So it feels very validating to have been a very, very tiny fraction of this institution.
Yeah, I think it's really cool because, you know, I've talked to a bunch of comedians before and they talk about doing, you know, Carson or doing Leno or doing
Yeah.
Letterman. And like for you, this was a transformational thing. Like back then it was like people found out about you overnight. For you, it's kind of helped you out with the next couple steps. So it's cool to see the impact of late night even in 2020.
Yeah, for sure. Because people always say that. People always say late night doesn't matter anymore. And, you know, there's always a little truth to things. Like late night doesn't make you an overnight celebrity. Like I could think of very few people who like did a late night and then blew up. Like honestly, the only person I can think of in recent memory is Jabuki. And he was going to blow up no matter what.
Right.
So I think late night won't make you a celebrity. You might not wake up with a sitcom deal, but you might wake up with an interview for a writing job, you know? So it can definitely change things.
Definitely. So when comedy does resume, what are you most excited about in terms of doing your material or just continuing to flex your creative muscles on the show?
Oh, you think it's coming back?
At some point, hopefully life will return, right?
Oh, wow. You're more optimistic than me. Well, we're all going to be doing the same Corona jokes when we come back, I'm sure. Everyone,
it's a guarantee at this point, right?
Oh yeah, everyone's gonna be like, I wrote that. It's like, oh, listen, man, I know it's probably parallel thought, but we're both kind of doing the same joke. It's so easy to do that too. God, what last year Joe Firestone and I went to the Melbourne Comedy Festival, and we both performed there, but different weeks. We came back. We never saw each other there. We came back. We were both doing the same joke almost verbatim. Wow. About Australia. Our minds are, I mean, Joe's mind is unique because she's like a genius, but like our minds are just not really as unique as we think they are.
Sure.
So there's going to be 1,000 of the same Corona joke, and I'm just excited to see what one it is. I don't know if I'll be joking about it. I mean, I'll probably talk about it like at some point with crowds, but like, ooh, it is so dark and it's so hard to talk about even in regular conversation, you know?
Yeah, and comedy kind of goes into those dark places, but this just feels like a whole different ballgame with this.
Yeah, it's like the plague.
Mm-hmm.
Almost just, I probably can't say the F-bomb on CBS. Great call, great. Yeah, it's terrifying. And, you know, I think that, I think you could like joke about anything, honestly, as long as you do it smartly and you do it with good intentions and the punchline is not, you know, cruel or punching like unnecessarily down. But man, this is hard. It's hard to be on Twitter. It's hard to be funny about. It's, you know, you could be funny about the things around it.
Right.
You know, it's really easy to make a joke about like being home for 14 days. I'm not wearing pants, you know, like things like that. But it's really, really hard to like make light of the core of it.
Agreed. Well, thanks for giving us a couple laughs today. Stay safe, be well, and thanks for coming on.